All right, guys. Sorry about that. Good morning. Took a little bit longer than I expected to hop online this morning. So, hold on one second. All right, good there. All right. Oh Lord. All right, log in here. Good morning, everybody. Alrighty. Alright, so good morning, BT. How's it going? Yep. Morning. Yeah. Sorry about that. All right. Good morning, good morning, good morning. You know, I was going to do pennies this morning, but I was watching my scanner, guys. There is nothing doing right now. It doesn't seem like there's much going on. I'm watching block trades, but I think right now futures movement is rather damning. So we're seeing that kind of affect the price here. So, all right. Hey, Sushi. Nice, thriving. Good to hear. Good morning, Swappy. That's funny. I saw that photo that you just posted, BT. Alrighty. So just right off the bat, guys, we're gonna go ahead and dig into the news. The climate that we're stepping into this week is heavier. So we're going to talk about our economic calendar, and of course, last night we went over our major ETFs, so that way we had a good idea of where those were at. Price action wise, we have seen futures move, and we'll go over that movement here in just a moment. So right off the bat, one of the, and I'm just going to kind of cruise through these top headlines, but China's economy is under pressure as factory output and retail sales growth slow sharply. The China's factory output and retail sales slowed and missed expectations in July as new COVID-19 outbreaks and floods disrupted business operations, adding to signs of the economic recovery is losing its momentum. Sure, we can take a look at Rocket in just a moment. Higher inflation target could trigger job booms. One of the Fed staffers made this comment here. The Federal Reserve may be wrestling with inflation problem as two former senior staffers at a U.S. bank argued that continued higher prices in the future may be what's needed to shift the whole economy to a higher plateau and deliver a job boom that helps the broadest set of people. Hyatt is to buy Apple Leisure Group from KKR Capital for $2.7 billion. U.S. operator says Hyatt Hotels on Sunday entered a deal to buy the resort company Apple Leisure Group from its private equity owner KKR and travel leisure specialist KSL. U.S. banks are right now walking a tightrope of encouraging but not mandating mask. So those are, as people return, that's just something that made the headlines this morning, but is something to keep in mind. A lot of these mandates make the virus, I guess, feel real again in a way, whereas, people started to get back to their everyday lives, and this is kind of creeping up and disrupting those things. So The U.S. cannabis firm PharmaCann plans to IPO as New York weed legalizations lift demand sources. So this is one of the few American-based cannabis companies. So it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Anyway, Wall Street futures, of course, are down in line with world stocks after a raft of Chinese economic indicators showed a surprisingly sharp slowdown in the engine of economic growth. The oil prices have dropped amid faltering demand outlook in China, and the dollar held its ground against major peers while gold edged lower. All right, so our economic calendar. Let's see here. All right, so starting this week. We've got Empire State Manufacturing and net long-term tick flows. That nothing doing there. But we do tomorrow have high impact information coming with retail sales, industrial production, and capacity utilization, business inventories, and housing market index. Housing starts, building permits, coming on the 18th. All of these have relatively high impact trading implications, so those are something to keep an eye on. Today, not much moving, but we do see that markets around the world are trading relatively low, flat, or just down. So if this is not the market conditions that you would like to trade in, that this may be one of those opportunities for you to go ahead and call it a day once you kind of evaluate the volume and momentum at the bell. Hopefully we see some type of tick back, but if we are going to move lower, I imagine we'll likely go and retest pre-market highs and then pull back for a retest, or just continue to the downside depending on the momentum. So alrighty, so as far as earnings is concerned, we do have earnings line that we talked about last night. Today, I may or may not be taking some type of position into Roblox. I usually do not play earnings, but I think there's a calculated risk opportunity that I can take advantage of. So I will let you guys know when I hop into that. But NIU, CleanSpark, IDEX, some of the bigger ones on reporting today. Tomorrow we've got e-commerce heavy, Ozone and SE going to affect Melly and Jamia. We've got HD and Walmart. Also, we have earnings on Tuesday as well. It's good to look at sector sympathies. Target, Nvidia, Nano Dimension, Cisco System, Hood, Digital Allies, and Lowe's all reporting on Wednesday. So we've got a relatively exciting 3 days, I guess. Not a ton of companies reporting compared to the earnings season that we just went through, but decent companies to keep an eye on that could spark movement in their respected brother and sister stocks. So AMD to be particular. Anyway, hopefully if we can run divergent from the entirety of the market, there are a couple stocks that we are watching today, and I made a video if you guys want to go and take a look at that. It's on TradingView, YouTube, etc., talking about where Starbucks is at. Now, just because something has support doesn't always mean that it's going to rebound and bounce, but we are watching for that to happen. There is a potential, and I wouldn't recommend trying to short this unless it closes below 114.50. 115, really the break of 115 is going to be rather pivotal, but you'll notice here that we are holding this support here, and in pre-market not showing much strength. Maybe they just know that we're watching it, but at the moment looking to potentially pull back, but at that same time, we do have this downtrend here starting off of that July 26th high, pulling that down. There is the probability that we go and retest the downtrend. A lot of the times when you get that breakout, you'll retest or even trade flat. So if the trading conditions aren't in our favor, above basically 117.65, 117.85 is a price range in which we need to break and get over in order to see the 120 mark that we're looking for. At 120, we'll be looking for a rejection signs, low volume run-ups, whatever the case may be, because we could end up seeing a head and shoulders. So another stock that I'm watching today. Microsoft, pretty self-explanatory. We'll go over that one in just a moment. CAT, of course, the infrastructure bill positively affecting a lot of these companies. One of the reasons why I'm hopping on CAT or watching CAT, hold on one second. Let's buy price target. In AOV, let's snipe this week going in Paris Thursday night. All right, I'm flying out, all right? Sushi, where do I meet you in Paris? I'm coming. In AOV, we'll cover that one this morning. So far, if you guys are holding in AOV, not too shabby as far as the movement. I'd just like to clear 330. The market may not allow that to happen. As long as we stay above $3 and really the 290 range, I'm okay with holding on to this one lightly and adding into position once we get over that high. So anyway, besides that, CAT is one of those main watches today. It is falling here in pre-market. It's not looking great because it's kind of falling out of this flag that it looked like it was potentially trying to form here. But on contrary to the chart, there is the potential, and we're going to look at the Dow and SPY and stuff like that here in just a second. But a lot of the times whenever you're on, let's say, the daily time frame and you have a stock that's fallen quite a bit, whatever the case may be, you end up moving onto or bouncing off of a 200-day EMA. A lot of the times when your EMAs are lagging behind you, the stock will consolidate for those EMAs to catch up. They're called bullish moving averages for a reason, and they're where the stock likely will retest. So right now, we'll wait for the update, but the EMA crossover for CAT could be within the next couple of days. Obviously, hopefully no FUD, kind of grabs hold onto this. Hopefully we don't see anything that could negatively impact anything, Chinese stocks whatsoever. But it does hold a interesting flag. We are watching CAT 218.51 is where I would recommend setting your alerts. Also 219.30 is another mark that we'll be watching for alert setting. As you guys know, CAT can run and does usually run whenever it moves up. So CAT is on the watch list here. This morning, AMD, we have sympathy news coming on Wednesday, hopefully in the form of NVIDIA earnings. But because NVIDIA has earnings, we'll see how NVIDIA runs, or if it runs into earnings or holds up. Right now, it's currently broken a downtrend, holding the 20-day EMA. We'd like to see it push above 201.50 today in order to show us, or really just pre-market highs, but 202.18 is likely where I'd be expecting NVIDIA to cross, obviously, with a potential target of 202.75 and then 203. But with that movement, we're watching AMD. So right now, AMD is currently holding, and I want you guys to know that if the market doesn't provide the conditions, that all of these setups are going to get blown out of the water. And I just want you guys to take a minute to be aware of the conditions and the environment that we're stepping into this week. We've got heavier news as far as Afghanistan is concerned. There are implications that come with China, and that, of course, it can have implications on the stock market. Overall, the markets are red across the world, and so us hoping to push our market up is not outside of the question. We have done that multiple times, but the climate is worldwide, not just centerfold here. Yes, I chart crypto, but not right now. I will shortly. Okay, so anyway, Roblox, we already talked about that one. Chart, it just looks really, really clean as far as holding a nice clean downtrend here, as you'll notice here and here. So kind of holding that channel. Regardless, watching this one to kind of hold and consolidate in this mark. I'll likely take a position on China said your enemies are my friends. I want them to be my friends so we can buy Baidu again. And CAT. please. Anyway, watching Roblox, I'll let you guys know when I take a position, but it's just looks like it's just being held back before earnings. I'm expecting parabolic movement. I could be wrong, but I like the way that they're holding this thing up. I know that they tried to shake retail out with that initial pop. Everyone expected continuation, and we've had 3-day red days after that. So, okay. Damn, Penn is moving up here in pre-market, apparently. Alrighty, so we got Walmart on the list. We also have Microsoft that's worth going over. Microsoft, guys, one thing I gotta stop doing, I think, as a lesson to myself, is doubting, with certain setups, even though the climate doesn't, the market is meant to go up. And so, I had my doubts about Microsoft moving to the upside. I knew that we would see the 285 retest. I made a whole video on that about how, I think the video was posted on YouTube and TradingView, but I posted that on August 9th. And from that retest, we pretty much hit 285 on the dot. Oh, damn. Yeah, so we hit 285 on the dot for that retest, flatlined, and we've bounced back up. So currently here in pre-market, we're holding, which isn't a bad thing. This is actually a good setup to look at on the 4-hour, but we are holding that previous resistance now turned support. So for Microsoft, it's just as simple as the HMA for me. That's 293.50. Above 293.50, you're going to be watching the tape and looking for 295 clearance. Are we going to get that today? I don't know, but we're going to evaluate price action and see what happens. Okay. It's not even 9 o'clock yet. Yeah, and I'm actually looking at Microsoft here in pre-market. It does look like it's going to pull back for sure. AGFY. Did anybody buy that in pre-market with me yesterday? Or last week? I believe some of you on YouTube. David, what do you mean? Just because of the climate? More, yes, probably. The link is in bio, guys, if you guys are looking for the YouTube channel. Sorry about that. All right, so let's go ahead. What do I think of EVGO? So let's take a look at that. I believe that I was actually looking at this one the other day because they had earnings. So looks like here on earnings, I'm not quite sure. You'll have to fill me in on that one. It is not looking great. I will say that you're at a good level in which you could see a nice rebound. Of course, you got the IPO, but currently this little zone here, that's where you're at. So there we go. So we're kind of chopping in this range. Is that pre-IPO or opening range for EVGO? I would suspect. Me personally, I would suspect that just to keep it simple, anywhere above the 20-day EMA, because I'm looking here on the chart, and the 20 and the 50 are looking to and seeming to be one of those moving averages that hold it down. So you can see the 20 there holding that stock down. Currently, you went and moved up. This is showing signs of weakness, so there is a good chance that you're going to retest 782. And I mean, you do have a newly established support around 950. So it is highly probable that you retest that. Now, I don't know what the climate is. I don't know what this company does. So the fundamentals are where that whole story can change. Use Beck. What did that just say? I just got news. Roblox acquires Gilded. Hold on. Terms not disclosed. Fuck. One second. I gotta log into something really quickly. I gotta pull up Benzinga. Also just got a Oppenheimer outperform 415 price target raise.
It's 9 o'clock.
Yeah, it is. Alright, 1 second, guys. Just logging in here so I can share the news with you guys as well. Hey, good morning, Georgie. How are you? Alright, let's log in here. Perfect. Alright. Oh my god. Hold on a second. Sorry. There we go. Jesus Christ. I just wanted to log in. SPRT. Spiking here in pre-market. Support with a little rebound here this morning to $9. Did you buy the dip on that, Georgie?
Looking at TVTX.
I see that price spike here. Did any one of you guys got two of the plays that I signaled last week? We got Agrify, AGFY. I signaled that one for equity swing, and then as well as NAOV, which I have a little bit of. So
I do have a little bit of an AOV as well.
nice. Yeah, that one moved up here nicely in pre-market. So all right. I've had way too much caffeine.
How many
A lot. This one large one, but it's like it has it's mixed. It's like a mix. It has mate and coffee and other stimuli in there. So I think get you geeking. All right.
Is it just cafe or you put something else?
It's like carob and cat coffee. It's like this. It's really good. It's a I don't know what it is, to be honest with you. I've been drinking it for like years, but I love it. But it has a lot of caffeine in it. All right, so what? Huh?
So that's all you need.
That's all I need. Make me happy. All right. Oof. So okay, SPY here finally. After using this as a we talked about how it was kind of flatlining here. Already seeing a wick here in pre-market, trying to go retest 446. Actually made a new all-time high at 446. Guys, I know I've already said it a couple times, but for those of you here, for anybody, it's okay to use today. I just want to reassure you, those of people who are new, if you were to not trade today, the market would still continue to provide opportunities. I know that sounds like an all-encompassing statement, but it just has to be said. And I think it's an important thing to think about when we're trying to understand the market activity that's happening right now. Just to put this into perspective for you guys, or for those of you listening, this mark of 444.15, which was the all-time high, and this mark right here of 44 at 443 on the dot, for a while, for I think it was almost a week, we traded in range. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and you could say 10 days we traded in range. From those 10 days, we've had 3 more days of very compressed candles, and also the outflow on the market was to the sell side. The imbalance was there. And then if you take a peek, if you go look at the daily as well, you'll notice that the candles are low volume and showing very little strength. I thought about this morning, guys. We can always do our best to chart. We can always do our best to prepare, but likely the things that are going to move markets are things that we cannot predict. And I think that almost as you have to rely on quantitative data, or just following, where are these people who know better? Where are they selling? You know what I mean? So that's why we use Quiver Quantitative and a lot of these insider, who's selling what and why. And so I've been more focused on watching where people with the money are putting that money, and whether or not they're selling, filing. I had somebody bring up to me that Kathy was selling, and I think that that's not outside of the normal. I think, Kathy's probably just trimming profit. A lot of the stocks that she took profit on, she was likely up, a good bit. So I still don't understand why she sells like one share of things sometimes. So Coin had great earnings. Let's talk about that. So they had great earnings. That's awesome. But one thing to think about is, what is the next earnings going to look like, right? So I don't know when the cutoff is for next earnings, but I believe it's either relatively soon or it's already passed. That being said, the quarter cutoff comes up soon. I think it's important to remember that the majority of Coin's revenue is made off of fees, and during the pandemic and before, or just kind of that run up into it, most people were at home, and I would say your average, 30 to 20, maybe older, was looking into crypto or knew about the movement at some point. So a lot of people have crypto accounts and traded using Coinbase. So I think that with all of the volatility that happened last quarter, that's one of the reasons why we had such a great earnings. But I think the outlook into the future is heavier because that volatility left and we sat flat. So those fees and that revenue that they made could decline rather than continue to go up, which is what we want, because you'll notice that a company can blow earnings out of the water, but if they show doubt going into next quarter, that will be the overall deciding factor. So I just to keep that in mind. Coinbase did great. I think that there is still room. We have a gap below us that to fill at 256.50, which is also the 50-day EMA. But currently the price action is showing weakness. So you're using this little price range here, 267 all the way to 260. So $7 price range, kind of consolidating here. I'd like to see it above 270 in order to kind of signify at least a short-term rebound. As far as long-term, I'm not really long on coin unless the catalyst is there. So obviously if Bitcoin rips into the 55 mark, coin's likely going to see some sympathy of that, and it could make a great day trade. But as far as going long on coin, I'll leave that to everyone else, because that's just a company that, one, I'm not a hyper crypto guy. I'd love to learn more about it. and be better at it and make all sorts of fun stuff. But until I do, that's not really my forte, and I usually just am looking for catalyst in my favor. So
There goes TVTX broke. Let's see if it holds.
oh wow, can I buy some?
Just wait for it.
That's what you said on Dole. I'm just kidding. It dumped. I was just joking. It dumped as soon as you said, "We just wait for a pullback." Oh man,
Don't get any dolls.
you did. You said that to me.
I don't know if anyone swung with VXX call or equities with me on the big step up. We swung last week.
Oh, nice.
Good job.
What stock are you talking about? What will break resistance?
Me?
No, somebody just messaged me. Sorry. I think we got another probe into Tesla. That's why it fell like that in pre-market. I think it was like I forgot what the TSCH or something like that. All right. Oh my God, this keyboard is so distracting. Pre-market movement is pretty slow so far. I don't know if you've noticed that. Hey. FLRG passes 52-week high.
I like that COHN. It's up 10% in pre-market. And if you remember, COHN and CAR-V, they go together.
I wonder if NFT stocks might run. Sorry, that just made me think.
The hype is not like before about NFT.
I mean, more. It's back. It's back. I don't know if it's back with a vengeance, but it's back. Like the NFT for a minute kind of dissipated, and I think people stopped. But I'm watching on TikTok, like there's pudgy penguins, and like racehorses that you can buy, and like they're selling for hand over foot. Like it's crazy, like the returns that some people are now. As far as the fees to for that's where I would love to learn more, but it is hot. I don't know if we're going to see that same. It's always the first time that something, the first time everyone decided that retail was going to do a short squeeze, for the next 3 to 4 months. That's all anybody could talk about. Anytime they're like, oh, was that going to short? Or is there a short squeeze? So I think with NFTs, we may see a pop, but probably nothing like the original push, like you just said. So hopefully.
They go short squeeze ANC.
Yeah. Apparently, some analyst I was reading this morning still thinks that Dogecoin is going to hit $1. So.
Well, when Elon will launch that fund for the space, it will hit. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Snee, don't yell at me, Jesus. I'm sorry. That's right, it will.
Well, I passed by Van today and it's written ANC on it. I don't know if it's assigned to give an eye on ANC today.
I'll watch it. It's I'm looking at it right now. It needs some juice, that's for sure. 34.50. I think it'll send it. All right.
Downtrend,
Yeah.
still didn't manage to break it.
TVTX Edward. Yeah. Georgie's rocking that one right now. So. Sophie. Poor Sophie, man.
So they had earnings last time.
Yeah, they're back at it.
Oh yeah, they gap down.
Yeah, they're back at a channel support. Let me.
1472 or 1414.
So
Doesn't.
yeah, I mean, it's good that you have a gap above you. Maybe you fill that, but I don't know. I would say 14. I think we talked about this this weekend. I'm not a Sophie guy, but 1475. I don't even really know where the hell this stock came from. I remember it ripped once, and then I've just seen it continuously from there. Yeah, so if you just look at this price range, this original pop, right, that we got on Sophie, that resistance that we've held at 1465, 1470, that's why I would be watching for a bounce. So Sophie, Pfizer, yeah, vaccine stocks are actually on the radar here. Although I will admit that Pfizer has a pretty scary setup. Anytime you see price action with a wide base like this, it's usually a sign, not always a guarantee, but a sign of a potential reversal. Now, it's a little soon to kind of set a mark on this one. We know where our resistance or our support is, for sure, but as far as our resistance line, it is highly likely that we see 4750 from that mark. If you bounce, I would anticipate a potential rising wedge, pushing that back up to 4950, depending on the timing, but 4950 would be the cap for Pfizer for me. Anytime you make a giant run up, pull back. And you've done this multiple times. Each time you've made a new leg up. So, excuse me. I personally just watch for the price to continue to consolidate. I think one of my good friends online, she's part of a different trading group actually, but me and her tend to have similar watch lists. But she's also watching Index, and I watched her video on Index and kind of what she was watching for with potential catalysts coming in the future. So I'm setting a mark at 260.25. She's very talented as far as vaccine stock analysis. I've seen her multiple times post about vaccine stocks. So I think she's anticipating potential news coming out of, I think it was India, or it may have been Iran, one of the two. But this one will obviously be vaccine related approval. So I'll be watching Pfizer or Index as well. So just kind of alert setting. I'm not actually like focused. I'm not much of a vaccine guy. I mean, I'm not much of a. I know. That's somewhere where I noticed that I categorically put stocks in my head. Like for example, what's one that moves like Coke, right? Like Coke can be fun to trade, but it is a dinosaur, and it moves very slowly, and it's just a pain in the butt to trade. Sometimes when it's in range, and so like Pfizer, if it doesn't have a catalyst, is a dinosaur, so like sometimes when someone's like Pfizer's going, my brain's like, that's nice. Like
Pfizer like move really slowly. So I would keep an eye on Infax, mRNA, and
TVTX. Move it again.
Man, I really want to buy some stocks because I see like the stocks, they are like way down. But the market in the season and this stuff is too hot, so I'm gonna wait on buying the dip, because I don't think this is the dip that should be bought.
I don't either. I agree with you.
That's why I'm still holding my hands on the trigger. I don't want to buy now, because if you go back to May, do you remember May, how the market was all time high?
Yeah.
And the stocks was like really down, and then when the market pulled back, the stocks pulled back more.
Yeah. That's exactly right. And this, you don't want to be trying to take upward positions in the beginning of what could be a correction. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very good point, and I agree with you very much so on the climate. Right now, guys, I may not take a trade. I may not. Maybe I'll enter something lightly, but I'm not forcing anything. We have our setups here. If we see momentum or volatility, we can try and take it. SPRT moving up here in pre-market again. Sorry, this one's just got a strong bounce. But anyway, yeah, we'll be looking for that. But guys, if we don't see the setup that we like, if we don't see the volume that we like, I'm gonna walk away. I gotta be off at 10:30 anyway to watch my daughter. My son has a doctor's appointment this morning, so I'll be off. I will be back on. Actually, support does look pretty interesting. Georgia, you should take a peek at that on the 15-minute time frame. Looks like I might actually buy it here. I'm kind of looking at it.
Wait.
SPRT.
Just Fav caught my eyes. You play that one.
Yeah, I'm in FOB right now. I bought the dip.
Yeah, look like it's up like a dip. Do you have earning today?
Yeah, I know, I'm ready.
Yeah,
Hopefully they're gonna scale. So
yeah, you've got 10 minutes. The market for that one is holding good. Man, that on the daily, it kind of looked like Kapana had handle support with that spike that did last time.
yeah, I have to agree with that one. Yeah, I see it for sure. And yeah, you got a nice. It was one of the very heavily shorted stocks that ran up. It was one of the ones that ran up with very little. The fundamentals absolutely did not line up. It's still a good company. Like it's still a good prospective company. Like the guy who runs the company is a well organized individual, pretty transparent, and knows exactly what he wants to do with his product. The only thing that they are dealing with right now is scalability. So far, when their vehicles are on the market, they sell, and not only do they sell, they usually sell to government contracted businesses or whatever the case may be. So I like them a lot as a long term play. So ENVL. NELV. Yeah, gapped up in pre-market, but IFBD. Yeah.
I'm watching space for the gap fell down today. Might
Space.
fill it. Yeah,
Yeah.
I fell that gap. I still have that things, but we'll see.
Those of you asking about Tesla below 710, I would watch this one back down. You got 700, but honestly, it's in range. I would leave it alone. You got the 20-day EMA. It's more than likely going to retest that if it does pull back. So, and the 220 EMA will likely catch up to this price action tomorrow. So you really just want to see a candle close above this resistance line, but this was kind of that fake out, if you will, but we'll see if we can see continuation. Almost pulled off a dark cloud cover, but not quite. So yeah, if space fills that gap, I'll buy it immediately. I might even set an order.
I will flip long as well.
Yeah,
I will buy.
I'll take that with you. Oh my goodness. Ugh, not enough coffee apparently. All right, we've got a little under 10 minutes here, guys.
By the way, the space daily doesn't have only one gap. It does have two gaps to the downside.
It does.
One gap 2170 to around 2330. The second one from 1726 to 1843.
Hey, Donaghu. That looks fire, my guy. Yes. I will be watching. Sorry, somebody just asked me. Yes. This Zim does have a decent flag set up here. It does appear also on the daily to be running into earnings. That's on the 18th. Dividends shortly after that. So make sure that you just pay attention. But it looks good. I will admit, it does actually look really good for a continuation potentially. Of course, the market could hold it back, and you've ran up into earnings, so you're going to want to see some type of. I just be careful going into earnings is all I have to say. But the setup does look good. Nice flag here, so just watch that one up for that wick fill pre-market high break of $45. So, alrighty, guys. SESN, I would need to see. Thank you, Carman. I appreciate you, brother. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. I feel like Georgie might know more about that one.
CSM. They had they didn't get approved. That's why they got down.
Oh, well then I wouldn't say that's a. Are they like denied forever, or do they have another chance to put it back on the market?
You have another chance.
Oh, well then, why the
Just
dip?
just like kind of accumulate and don't go heavy, man. You're gonna hold if you are not willing to see your position red, so don't buy.
Yeah, be strategic in that. But I wouldn't say it's a terrible. I mean, if you go look at the daily here, it's not at the lowest lows, but it wicked down all the way to 68 cents. Good God, Georgie, what?
If I was on my desk at that time, I would just go heavy. I wasn't on my desk even.
Wow.
I didn't see it.
All right, 1 second, guys. I'll be right back.
Look from that dip, the same day, yeah, till that high, it made like around almost 170%, 200%.
Oh my God.
From that dip, the same day.
You are by the dip, dude. I'll be back.
I didn't. I wasn't on my computer. Anyway, goodbye now that the gap up on Fubo. Let's see Fubo. I don't see any gap up on Fubo. Where is the gap up?
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
What's up, Georgie?
I'm good. How about you?
Doing good, man. Doing good, man. Just been listening to you guys.
Good, man, good.
So,
Next
got
week?
3 minutes. All right. What do I got? I swung SPRT, Oracle. Let's see. Looking at Microsoft right now. Microsoft is.
It just passed the 52-week high. Just then, right as I walked in the door.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, those of you guys on YouTube, thank you guys tuning in. Same for me, Astro. We are gonna go ahead and shut it down, but thank you guys as always for tuning in. Likely be live just with our Discord members today. But I will be live on TikTok and other platforms, of course, tomorrow. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys after hours. So peace.
Cool. 2 minutes almost.